Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar. This is our Intelligent Outsourcing webinar that I'm doing, and lovely to see some of you here that came to our conference our stand at Accountex London. So hi to all of you. This is all about why creating an offshore team is the intelligent way to outsource, and that's our strap line that we have at Intelligent Outsourcing, and we're just going to explain why we'll be throughout this, and then there'll be Q&As at the end. So what we're going to do today is basically understand, I'll explain how an offshore accounting team can basically benefit you and your firm and you can then ask the questions at the end. We're going to look at the difference between outsourcing of work and having an offshore team as well, because there is a difference. And we're going to look at some tips to make sure that the offshoring works for you. We've done this for many years now, since 2016, so we know what works and what doesn't, and when it doesn't work, the issues there. And we're also going to be looking at when you offshore, what to look for in an offshore partner, because it is a partnership. You want it to work together with the partner that you go with, because you need to make sure that things that are issues that get resolved and everything like that. And I'll also just go through some of the pitfalls, because we want to know them, because you don't want to be going through those pitfalls that we've had or we've seen other people do, because that will make it work for you. So why listen to me, Nikolai Naylor? That couple of reasons why you might want to. I do have my own accountancy firm that I have had since 2011, and we're growing that quite extensively at the moment, so through acquisitions and through organic growth as well. I am the MD for Naylor Accountancy Services, but we have a whole leadership behind it. I know some of you may have the firm you want, the book, the way we run things at Naylor and IO is in there, so you can actually understand how we do run things. And I started Intelligent Outsourcing back in 2016, so we've been running a long time, and we ran through COVID when it was a bit scary and we didn't know what was going to happen, but it worked out well. And then since COVID, everybody seems to be wanting outsource offshore people, because everyone knows that you don't need to be in the office. Grown IO to 3 offices, so that's Intelligent Outsourcing. I'm in the Philippines right now, so I came here straight after Accountex, and I'm here for 3 weeks, and we're doing some team building and everything like that the next few days in the various offices. And I'm also the author of The Firm You Want, which is available on Amazon as well, as we were giving it out for free as well at Accountex. It does cost on Amazon. Here, this is my Naylor Accountancy Services team, which is what I was talking about. So this is the guys in the Philippines and also in the UK. When we have our leadership meetings, they are in both of them. As in, then the Philippines on the screen and we're live in the UK. And this is Subic Bay, where I am right now. So this is one of our offices that we have here in the Philippines. So this is the office I'm in, and outside I'm in the boardroom at the moment. So we're going to look at the current issues of accountancy firm owners and just accountancy firms and bookkeeping firms at the moment. So you've got difficulty in recruitment, especially you've got them all over the world. I mean, it's not just the UK, it's Canada, UK, US, we've got it in Europe as well. So all over the place there is an issue there. So there's a difficulty in recruitment, and in audit, there's a big one there as well. So we've got to just make sure that that's something that we can help with through offshore and outsourcing. There's big salary rises going on. That's not just in the developed countries, also here in the Philippines. It has happened, especially since COVID. The economic environment. So there is lots going on in the environment. We've got tariffs, obviously, and then there's the talk of recession, everything like that. So there's lots of uncertainty in that as well. And nobody has enough time to do everything that they want to do. There's always so much to do, and that is always a current issue that everybody is facing. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to take you through the difference between outsourcing of work and offshoring team. So creating one, because this is a big thing. So we've got these two little diagrams here. The one on the left, that is basically looking at outsourcing. So what outsourcing of work is, you give somebody work in a different country. It can be also your own country, but you outsource that work. Then they use their own systems and processes to get that work complete and then hand it back to you for you to then review. If you still need some changes, you then pass it back to them and then they will do that review. Next year, if you're doing accounts for a client or anyone like that, or an audit for a client, then next year when that person is going to do that work again, it could be a totally different person picking that work up, because it's just a whole load of people that are doing the work. So they won't be learning from any mistakes that they've made, and they won't be learning about the client throughout the time. When you're doing an offshoring, that's creating an offshore team. We call it partnership, because you are working as one team. So although your team is in a different location, they are using your systems and processes, and by doing that, they are following everything that you are doing. They're working on the clients that you give them and doing what you want them to do within that client base. So within that offshore team, they are just like somebody in your local country, but within your team systems and processes. So they will learn from mistakes. They'll be able to communicate as well with people if you want to, within your team, obviously, but also externally as well. So it's more of a whole ecosystem. So there's the same team and system. And we do highlight that later on when you'll sort of see me talk about that as well. And that's one thing we say. We say offshoring is the intelligent way to outsource. And I will probably say this a few times, but that's our strap line. When we started intelligent outsourcing, nobody knew what offshoring meant in creating an offshore accounting team. So we actually called ourselves Intelligent Outsourcing. Now lots of people know what offshoring is, but back then it wasn't. And offshoring is a subset of outsourcing. So that's why we call it Intelligent Outsourcing. Just if you're confused about our name and we don't actually outsource work, we create offshore teams for our partners who are accountants, bookkeepers, and sometimes firms as well create their own finance department offshore. So what is offshoring? I have actually spoken about it already, but I'll just go over it again. So the team member works in another country. So that's why it's offshore. I mean, we're in the Philippines, it could be India, Sri Lanka, wherever it is in the world. It can be in a different country that that person is working. And it is cost effective, so it's not as cost effective as it used to be. And the reason is, since COVID, the whole world has woken up to the fact that you can have an offshore team. Before that, people didn't. People are going back into the office all the time now, so that is what we do here in the UK for the UK. So the UK team is in the office, but then some people working night shifts for Canada are actually working from home just because of the time zones. But offshoring is cost effective. And it's easier to acquire talent because there's so much talent. For us here in the Philippines, everybody goes to university. Well, not everybody, lots of people go to university. And if they do a degree in accounting, it's a 4 or 5 year degree, and then they can do a CPA. So there's lots of talent here in the Philippines, the same with other countries around the world as well. Where it's more of a struggle for us in the UK, it's a struggle to get people in the UK. I've heard the same in Canada, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, or everywhere it's a struggle. The big struggle I'm hearing at the moment everywhere is audits. So audit's the big one that people are struggling to get people to do. Obviously, they can't be in situ in the office, but any work that can be done outside can be done in a talent pool that's offshore. So I keep saying this, but they're using your systems and processes, and that's the big reason why I set up Intelligent Outsourcing, because I wanted to be able to use my systems and processes and have control over what was happening. I didn't want to outsource the work using their systems and processes. So that's the reason for Intelligent Outsourcing, because there wasn't things like this around really back then in 2016. So that's why I created it initially. And now we have partners working with us. First of all, so that's the accounting systems and processes are your own. and they do only work for you. So this is the thing, if you outsourcing work, they may be working for other people, and you've got to be careful whoever you do offshore with that they are only working for you, but they only work for you, and that's what you want with a proper offshoring of a team, because it is effectively your team working in another country, but under the employment of whatever the firm is that you have offshore. And they can also do multiple tasks. So they can do emails, chasing, and everything like that. So for my UK nail accountancy services team, they do lots of things. They do for UK, they do year-end, VAT, payroll, CIS, management accounts, bookkeeping, company secretariat, emailing clients for everything. That was the big bottleneck for us. It was emailing clients for bookkeeping information, for year-end information, for self-assessment information, because then the accountants can actually carry on doing the work once it comes in and in the UK, or they can actually have those face-to-face meetings in the UK. So we have an admin team in Naylor Accountancy Services as well that basically do company secretariat plus the ringing of clients, picking up the phones and things like this. So it's lots of different ways that you can do offshoring so they can do multiple tasks. So now I'm just going to go into the pitfalls. So with the pitfalls, in my book, I have the 30 ways to fail. And the reason I do that is because if you know ways to fail, you know how not to fail, because you just do the opposite. So we look at these pitfalls because this is what we've seen in other partners when it hasn't worked, that have actually stopped using it, or they've carried on using it, but we've actually helped them out on that. And also just from my own experience. So the first one is lack of training in your processes. Now, it's like having your own team member. So if you brought somebody in your country into your team, you would actually train them in everything that you do. You don't just expect them to know it all straight away. You need to do the same for your offshore team member. They need to be trained in your ways and systems and processes. And you can easily do this, but that's one we've seen where they just expect it plug and play, and it isn't. They have to be trained just as somebody would be in your own country. Not committed to offshoring. Now, this might seem a very straightforward one, that, oh, why would I do it if I'm not committed? But it might just be the founder that's committed and other people aren't. So you want your leadership 100% committed, and your team, and you needs to be really part of your strategy, because it's not just let's have a go if it works or not. You need to make it work, because it does work. So it needs to have commitment, because it doesn't happen overnight. What I've said to everybody is that your first hire is the most difficult one, and you want that to be right, because they can then hire, they can help hire, but they can then train the next people coming in. Once you have a team, so we have a team in Naylor Accountancy, and it's dead easy for me to get somebody else in, or for anybody to get anyone else in, because they will train them up. We do have the IO Academy, they do training there first, but then they get trained up. We don't really need the UK team to train them in anything, apart from if it's a new client, they need to understand how that client is operating. So not having commitment, that will make sure it doesn't work. So you need to be 100% committed, and it is a strategic thing. Your offshore team not treated like part of your own team. So this is if you don't treat them like part of the team, you don't really talk to them at all, because you've got now Zoom, which this video is on, webinar, you've got Teams, you've got lots of things that we can do now, and it's dead easy. You can do video calls, you can just call them. So there's no reason why you can't treat them like part of the team. But so if you don't treat them like the part of the team, we have seen this lots of times where they're not treated as part of the team, it doesn't work well. It can still work, but it doesn't work as well, because they don't feel engaged with you either, and your team in where you are isn't engaged with them, so they don't feel like they're part of the same team. When people do engage, there's a massive difference. So pitfall 4. Not communicating with your offshore team. I've actually just said that in a way, if you don't treat them like a team, your own team member. It's the same sort of thing, not communicating with them. So you have Teams, you have Zoom, you have Slack if you use that. There's lots of ways to communicate with people, even if they're halfway around the world or the other side of the world. So we use it in Naylor Accountancy Services all the time. So we always have daily huddles. We have weekly meetings in our pods, and then we have a quarterly review and a town hall just to explain what's going on to everybody. So communication is key, but that should be the same in any business. And if you do have my book, the firm you want, there's lots of communication things there you can see that we do in the rhythm of the business. So for me, the rhythm of the business is critical for any business to operate. So, but this is communication. To fail, you just don't communicate with them. Pitfall 5, not letting your offshore partner know when you have issues. Now, this is a big one that you might think is daft, but if you have a problem, you need to tell your partner straight away. If that's us Intelligent Outsourcing, you must tell us, because we can't help you make that right or help you. So if your team member isn't doing something properly, and you need to understand why, or you want us just to know that what's happening, and is there anything we can do training wise, we will look at that and see how we can develop them and help you. And that's the same everywhere. If you come to it too late, let it drag on, the issue gets worse, and we just want to nail everything down straight away in Intelligent Outsourcing. So don't, if you want it to fail, just don't let your partner know when things are not working out, or when you've got issues with your team. So this is something you can definitely make a difference by having an offshore team. This has happened with Naylor. I've seen it with other people. It's allowed them to grow their businesses. We should hopefully have someone on this call at the end, he was coming in later, that can actually attest to this, because they have an offshore team with us and it's helped them grow their business. But it does make a massive difference, because you can also get new people in easily, because we can get those people for you within the Philippines. If you elsewhere, your partner would be able to do that as well, but it's an offshore team that you create to make a difference. It also means that the team members in UK or wherever can actually focus on the added value services, or more client facing, so they can actually do something they might enjoy more, but also look to get more services in at the same time, because they're not getting stuck into all the nitty gritty of compliance, payroll, VAT, bookkeeping, whatever that may be. So the benefits of offshoring, and having an offshore team, I keep saying this, but there's talented accountants and bookkeepers. So they're out there, we have them in the Philippines, and we develop them here, and you would develop your team members as well. They are cost effective compared to what they are. They are less so than it used to be. We say about half, it might be less than that, or it might be more than that. The higher the level the person is, probably less, because the wages are higher, on the higher end, especially in the UK. I can only speak for the UK on this, and Canada, but that's where you get big cost effectiveness happening. With Intelligent Outsourcing, and there'll be other business offshore partners that you would do, someone else deals with the HR. So we deal with the HR for you, which is a big headache, and you don't need to do it. You would speak to your partnership team member that over in the Philippines, and they would liaise that to the HR, and they would sort of deal with it, and would get IO Academy involved, or whoever else it is that's required there as well. So HR is dealt with by someone else. I keep saying it, they use your systems and processes. If you haven't got a system set up though, you can actually get it trained up with your offshore team member, and this is what we do here in Intelligent Outsourcing, and we say get it videoed. You can do it on Loom, or you can do it on Teams or Zoom, whatever, and then they can actually have a transcript of it, and then create that into the process. You can then review it, or whoever's training them, just to make sure everything's correct, and also video it when you're doing the training, so they can re-look at it all the time. I've gone into tips now, shouldn't have done that. So they do the work you want them to do. as an offshore team. If you're outsourcing, you give them one piece of work, so a VAT, then a payroll, and it might be different teams because they like pods that just work on that. They data processors in finance team, or outsourcing finance teams basically. So they'll just work on certain things. So you'll also have different costings for different things. With us, you get the person. It will go up the more they do, as otherwise you won't retain that person because they become more valuable in the marketplace. So we do have to do that, but we normally do that on an annual basis, so so they do the work you want them to do. And that does include emails and everything like that to your clients, because that saves the bottleneck, which is a massive saving. But you have to be happy with that first before you allow that. So make sure you are, and the way they write and everything. And it gives you time to focus on what's important. So the big thing there is you might have your team wanting to focus on something else rather than just the nitty-gritty. You might want to focus on it, or you might want extra time to actually see your family, go on holiday or anything like that. So because you can't, because you're doing so many things within your own business, if it's your own business. And it allows you to grow your business. I have said this many times, and that's evident by the partners that we have, especially the ones that are growing, because they just keep growing their teams to enable them to actually take on the work. So they can actually let their team members in the UK or wherever that is focus on the client, and they can have the team members doing the work here. They review it maybe in the UK, which is what they do before they have the meeting, make sure everything's fine, and then they'll have that meeting with the client to go over year-end accounts, to say, or management reporting. So those are the benefits, the 7 benefits. So what to look for in an offshore partner? The first one is commitment. You want to make sure they'll work with you. We always say we are partner in growth. Partner is always a massive thing for us. It is a partnership. We're not here as a transactional thing for you as well. So if that's how you see us, which is more outsourcing of work, well, it is outsourcing of work, then we're not right for you. We want to be strategic partner for you and make it work for you. So make sure there's commitment. One of our core values, so we have 7 core values that we call it, acronyms I charge, it's integrity, and the second one's care. So we've got care in there, which is a big one, and excellence at the bottom as well. It's the last of our core values. In-house training. Make sure your partner has in-house training. We have Intelligent Outsourcing Academy, so IO Academy. So we do that training, normally a month's training before they come to you. And then once they're with you, if there's anything that they need, they can be trained up on extra that they're going to start doing that they've not had training on, or they need extra training in. And then we also have constant training going on that they're able to access. So we've got online things that they've got, and we also sometimes do webinars, or have webinars that we ask them to go to. If it's UK, there's UK tax, and they're doing things in the tax, and there's changes, we get them to watch those videos as well. So in-house training. The commitment, I've already said it, see you as a partner. That's how we commit as a partner. So that's what we believe is the right way. Regular communication. So you want the regular communication, not just from with your team member, but you want it with your offshore partner. What we have here is a partnership team, and we want them to commit to talking to you. Could be 10 minutes every quarter at the least. At the start, it's more. It's like weekly, just to make sure it's going correctly, 2 weekly, and then monthly, and then it goes to quarterly. It can be as frequently as you want it, or someone in your team wants it to be. But regular communication is definitely what you want. And you don't want to just feel they don't want to talk to you, as in your partner. The way we're actually chasing our partners to talk. And I've said to them just yesterday, look, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it doesn't matter how long it is. Just have that conversation so you can touch base and make sure that everything's working to their satisfaction. Offshore team works data securely, so you make sure that's happening. We are GDPR compliant, and we're looking all the time. So just here at IO, we do fishing expeditions. So we have an external IT consultant that actually sends out mails that look like legitimate things with links. and then we find out who's actually clicking on them. And it was quite high to start off with because they look so realistic, these ones, but it's gone really low down now, which is perfect because you don't want anyone clicking in. So we do that on a regular basis. So I actually don't know what the score rate is now, but it should be virtually nothing, because if there isn't, people are getting disciplined just because we've done it for so long now. But look at your partner having data security. Probationary period, you must have that in order that you know the person's the right fit for you. We have a 6 months probation period. After that, in the Philippines, it's really difficult to get rid of someone if they're really not good. We prefer everyone to stay within 3 months, and we will look to help support the person before we change them. But if the person really isn't the right fit, then we've got an issue. We should, in intelligent outsourcing, not be an issue that they really aren't a proper fit and we can't work with it, because we do so much screening before they come to you. They do tests. We also, well, first of all, you've got the CV test, screening, then you've got tests, and then interviews. There's lots that happens before. And then we have IO Academy as well. So even if they come to you and they're in IO Academy, if we think within IO Academy this person really isn't right, we will tell you, and we'll exit the person and bring someone else in for you. We have had that happen a couple of times, but then we've actually learnt how to weed these people out before they even come to us. So we've had so much experience in this, but it still can happen because people are human and they change as well. But have a probation period. Good communication skills. So you want your partner to be able to communicate and you understand them. And also to be fair, your team members, which is something that in the Philippines we're blessed with here, that is good communication skills. And with your partner, you want them to be able to offer talented accounting and bookkeepers with years of training, if that's what you want. If you want a graduate, the graduate. But that's what we have, obviously, within Intelligent Outsourcing. And a good track record. Here we've actually been running since 2016, and I use it for Naylor accountancy services, and we're going to be using lots more. So with the advent of AI, we're going to be experimenting within Naylor, and as soon as we know something works really well, then we're going to be talking to our partners about that as well, to help them and their teams work more efficiently, basically. But that's as things happen. So the good track record. And good internet. So I'm in the Philippines and this internet's working well. My skills at the start didn't, because I wasn't sharing my screen, but the internet's absolutely fine here. So key to making offshoring work. We'll just go over this again. So let's commit to offshoring. We've spoken about that. It should be a strategy to create your accountancy bookkeeping firm, if you're using it, or if it's your firm you're using finance department. So it needs to be commitment to that as part of your strategy. Train your offshore team. So we've seen in the pitfalls, you need to be training them in your systems and processes. They can video them as you're training and everything like that, and then you can actually utilize it as procedures and systems, and use the transcripts as well. Make them feel part of your team, and that's critical. They are your team. They can be on your website as well. So if you look at my Naylor Accountancy Services website, you'll see them on there, and also some of our partners as well. So everybody's on there, and I'm actually going out for a meal with my Naylor team shortly. Although we won't be doing that forever, because we might have to do karaoke or something after this, just because there's going to be far too many of them to go out for a meal, because we're growing constantly through acquisitions as well. So that's there. So make sure they feel part of your team. So that's daily huddles, weekly meetings. This is online, obviously, monthly meetings, whatever that is that works for you. Make sure that they're part of the team. And make sure your existing team in UK or whatever country you're in are happy about it. You need to consult them. Don't just bring it in, because if you do, they really won't be that happy. So you do want to be doing that and bring them on board. I did have someone that didn't like it. It's in my book as one of the stories in grey. The firm you want is that they didn't like offshoring. They didn't like the thought of it. They thought they couldn't learn anything. They wouldn't know what a boots invoice was, despite them Googling it. And once they've learnt it once, it's the same each time. That person didn't last long within Naylor Accountancy Services because we were just starting out down this route, but they didn't last long because they weren't enjoying what we were doing and how we were operating. So just be aware you need your existing team to be happy. Although I have to say, if David does come on at the end, Tom, who works for David, was not keen and on offshoring, and now they have a team of four, and he loves it. He's been out here last year as well, and he absolutely loves it, and he can see it being the way that he can grow the business, and he would not have his offshore team. So it can change, but as long as people are open minded. Regular team meetings. Look at my book, The Firm You Want. Look at the rhythm of the business. There's lots of suggestions that if you don't have them, but make sure they're part of the team meetings or build team meetings for them. And inform your partner, your offshore partner, when you have issues, and that's a critical one. I can't stress that enough, because when we've had the biggest issues is when a partner's held something up for 3 months, 6 months, then we can't, it's almost gone too long with that team member to actually correct things. So we want to be able to correct them as soon as we hear about them, as soon as they happen, we hear about them from you straight away. So what we've gone through, the benefits of offshoring. We've also done the difference between offshoring and outsourcing of work. We do say offshoring is the most intelligent way to outsource for a very good reason from my behalf and how I see things. But obviously outsourcing has got its place as well. You've looked at the pitfalls to avoid. And I've given you some tips as well to ensure that it works for you. And just what you want from your offshore partner. Do ask those questions of us as well if you want to be looking to, hopefully come with us or whoever else it is as well. So if you want any other information from us or book a discovery call, then you can do that. Your info at Intelligent Outsourcing or you can just direct message me. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up to Q&A. So what's the level of English in the Philippines? So, that's a good question, because in the Philippines, they speak an American English, and it is actually a very good American English. So it's easier to understand, we've been told, than, say, someone from India, in that we have people coming to us after they've been outsourcing, offshoring to them, because they want the people in their offshore team to talk to clients or even talk with their team members more. So it is a very useful that they are American English. I would say everybody is an individual, so you never know what a person's going to be talking like. So if you do want somebody to communicate directly with clients, we'll look for somebody who has got very good English. It's also something that you can develop. So I have actually developed this as well in the past. So it is something that you can actually do. Just stop, develop it. Are there any core platforms Intelligent Outsourcing support or practices use Silver, Line, Zero, Iris or other support? So they can use any system because it is yours. We do Zero training in the IO Academy, so they get Zero certified straight away and QuickBooks certified depending on the partner if they on QuickBooks. So we do that, so they do both. And we can't do Silver Line training, that you'd have to do all that. But we don't support your systems and processes. That's for you to support. So they would have to be trained up, just as it would be somebody in your home country as well. So it would be literally the same as that. There's another one here. So Intelligent Outsourcing offer only the offshore model, where the team would basically be managed in terms of efficient performance quality by us. And yeah, that is correct. So we get the team, and we have training and stuff that we can do to enhance what they do. We're not just introducing them to you. So we create the team for you within Intelligent Outsourcing. So we have officers here, so they're in the office in the Philippines. We have a whole HR team that looks after them. We have a partnership team that that will talk to you and speak with you as well. And we've got the whole infrastructure here, internet, the lot. So, and also the data security. So it is, everything there is how it works. And the role of Intelligent Outsourcing is to primarily introduce, we do introduce them, but we also continue to help train them and manage them for you. But they are your KPIs and everything like that you have to do, Antoinette. So I hope that has explained that. Ah, brilliant. Another question is, how do you create an offshore team once you've got someone? It's very simple. If you need another resource, we will actually then look to get somebody coming in for you, and then they'll be working directly with you, and that's how you would actually see it. So it's easier once you've got that one person in the team, and then we can grow it and however it is required. I think the hardest thing is trusting somebody else. Any tips on that? So trusting. So that's where the partnership comes in. So you don't need to, but you should trust your partner straight away. So one of our core values is integrity. So that's our first one. And they're not in order. It's I charge. There's integrity, care, have fun, accountability, respect, growth, and excellence. So those are our core values. So they're very important to us, and we hire and fire on them. So it is something that we really do take to heart. So yes, trust might be something, but we consider ourselves trustworthy. But it's difficult with your team member, obviously, at the start. You need to develop that trust with them and grow them and help them grow as well. We will help in that development for you as well. So it's one of those things that it does take time to actually sort of have that happening, but the trust would be there as you grow and as you develop it, Antoinette. It isn't an instant one, I'm sure, but we do, integrity is a big one. We've actually just fired someone a few months ago because of their integrity. It was actually an internal member. It wasn't a team member for a partner. So we do actually hire and fire on our core values, and everybody knows that here at Intelligent Outsourcing as well. So unfortunately, David wasn't able to make it today. I did ask him; he wasn't quite sure if he could make it in time. So David Parker, he has Purple Accounts, and he has a team of 4 with us here at Intelligent Outsourcing, and he has grown his team over the time, and it's enabled his business to grow, and he's constantly growing. He's doing very well at the moment. So his team member, Tom, he actually did come over here as well last year, so it was great to meet him. I've got some interviews with him if you're interested, because he was not for offshoring initially, which I mentioned during this webinar. So if you're interested in that, we can just send you the videos on it. It is on our YouTube channel, I believe, as well. So that's with Tom. So just to see what he has said about offshoring and creating the offshore team, and that's actually something that you can do as well. So we have some of our partners, in order to give an incentive to their UK team to be with them, and retention. They actually say after 3 years, they can come over to the Philippines and meet their offshore team. So we've had about 3 people from one of our partners, and that's MAP. So they don't mind us saying this because they will speak to any of you as well. And what they do is they actually use their offshore team on the higher end. So rather than the bookkeeping, because you can bring them in on the bookkeeping and level, and VAT, self-assessment, whatever, the lower level to start off with, and then you can build them up to year-end accounts, management accounts, everything like that. But you can bring them in at year-end accounts and management accounts, which is what they do with their team. And then their team train the team in the UK who are coming in as apprentices in doing all the work like the year-end accounts and management accounts. And they have somebody over here who's at a very high level, sort of like an FD level, that they have who trains the whole team up and actually looks and analyzes things to a very high level. So you can do both ways. The way we do it mainly is that people come in year ends, bookkeeping, and that sort of level, and then they will go up into management accounts, but it can be that right at the start. It's using your systems and processes however you want to do it right at the start. So I hope that makes sense. And we also do 300 Office 360, just so you know. I haven't mentioned that. Someone just asked me to remind everybody. So we have Office 365 that we have. Obviously, if you're on Office 365, that's great, because then you have that as well. So I love it because it's got Teams, it's got everything on there, chat and everything, as well as the PowerPoints and everything like that. Thank you, everybody. We will have a video of this, and if you would like to sort of have a conversation with anyone, please do reach out to us, and we will be able to sort of help you, and then if you've got any further questions, do let us know. Thank you, everybody, and have a good Thursday. Take care. Bye.